Hello YouTube, it's the weekend. I'm at the new house I'm roughing in, the one that I made the trunk duct for on the video last week. The trunk duct will actually run right down through here. I've got my supply branches already in. They've just got their inspection yesterday and started covering up the plumbing and whatnot. So as soon as I get this garage floor smoothed out and poured, I'll come in and do the rest of my duct work. That's roughed in for the 90 plus furnace. I have a makeup air going up and into the attic up near my hatch to go into the upstairs heat pump, and then the actual vent will run over here where it goes up through the roof eventually after it goes through the first floor and through the attic. Right next to it is the gas line to a fireplace in the living room, and then I've got it extended out through the wall for a second fireplace that'll go on the back patio. I brought it over to right here for now because I wasn't sure where the gas meter was going to be. They came yesterday evening and marked it on the corner of the house. I'll have to stop and get my furnace on the way, and then I'll come down, jump up and over, and go outside for the gas meter. So I'll go upstairs and show you what I've got up there and take a look at the this will have a 45,000 BTU furnace and a 2.5 ton AC. Down here I've got to run my line set. It'll come up and we'll follow the beam with it. I'll jump up and over the beam, go down this bay here, come down the corner, and out right here the condenser will actually set right above this retaining wall. They'll backfill behind that retaining wall. The other condenser will be on the opposite end of the house. We'll go up and take a look at that. There's where they marked for the gas meter. Guess they didn't want me to miss it. Okay, we're upstairs. This will be one return grill. Thermostat will be on the wall. This is on the master suite end of the house. Got another grill, exact same size, 16 by 25, down on this end for to get some air from both ends. There's my furnace vent. Goes up and through the roof. I painted the pipe black, the part that sticks out of the roof, so it wouldn't be so noticeable on the dark roof. The gas line down there, if you can see it, stubbed out. This is my air inlet for my furnace. Comes through and goes up. I've got a coupling stuck up on it with some metal tape over it just to keep insulation out or whatever happens up there in the meantime. But upstairs we have a unit. It's a 1.5 ton heat pump. Built a little platform, raised it up so I could get R38 insulation beneath it. The only thing that really happens over this way is the line set comes down through this wall beside the tub and goes out of the house right down here near the floor underneath the tub deck. They're going to raise the grade pretty high on this thing, so I needed to get up higher than the banjoist down in the basement. If we go upstairs, this is like a bonus area. It's got a bathroom, some kind of room, another room, and then this is going to be storage, I guess, but she's going to finish it off. They've got to build their wall down along this end in front of the trusses. So I just left this dangling here until they get that wall built. So we have another 16 by 25 return up here. That way she can just keep one size filter for everything. Comes over. Metal trunk duct here, round pipe. And I have a supply, of course, in this little storage area. Got a supply in the bathroom. Both of those are 6-inch. And then we have a 8-inch for this room with a 6x10 grill on it. We got two 8-inch supplies in this larger room with 6x10. I'll jump around on the front and take a look at the front of the unit. Okay, we're out here in the attic. The air handler's in. Got a drain pan under it with a safety switch. Got the safety switch when I come out of the unit. I filled this pipe up with water and it's still holding water. I did that before the inspection several days ago. It got down to freezing last night, so I'm going to go down in the basement before I leave and cut the cap off. So at least the whole pipe won't be standing full of water. Not much else. Here I got 5 kW of electric heat in it. And this is actually going to be a vent. I just put a cap over it to keep anybody from sticking anything down in it or getting any insulation in it when they come up here and blow it in. So when I come to start it up, I'll pull this off. I'll take the little grate that comes with my furnace and put it on the end of that pipe there. Again, after they get through insulating, so I know that nothing's covered up. Okay, they finally got the floor poured on the new house I was working on that I made this trunk duct for. So I haven't got around to insulating it yet. I procrastinate a lot. But now I need to go ahead and do that so I can install it. Got the joints, seams sealed. I'm collecting my cardboard from the last couple of jobs. They put topsoil around the house and it rained for a week straight, so it's nothing but a mud hole to get up to it. I'm going to try to deliver the duct early in the morning when the ground's still frozen and hopefully not bring a bunch of mud out into the road. But I had a couple of questions on the last video about insulating, and so that's what I was actually doing tonight. Great way to spend a Saturday night, huh? But at any rate, this is R8 installed insulation. I think it's 3-inch. And on the package of your duct wrap, it'll tell you what length you have to cut it based on how big of a duct you're going to wrap around. In this case, the 3-inch for a rectangular duct, which is what I'm working on, is the perimeter plus 11.5 inches. And so on this particular piece I'm getting ready to do, it's 8 by 12, so I've got 8 plus 12 plus 8 plus 12, or 40 inches around it. Add 11.5 to it. So I'm cutting each one of these pieces 51.5 inches. So I'll measure back 51.5, cut me off a piece, and then I'll show you what I have to do to the edge in order to prepare it to be wrapped around the duct. Okay, so now that I've got it cut off, and I usually use a pair of scissors. They make a lot better, heavier scissors than this pair, but it works. You notice the insulation comes with a flap all the way down one edge. That is so when you go from one piece to another, you have this flap of foil that you can just pull up over the, say, butt edge of the next piece and tape it. It gives it a good seal. That is from end to end, so we're wrapping around the duct, and where we made this cut, we need to create a flap like that. So what I'll do is take my scissors, and that 11.5 inches allowed for a 2-inch flap. I don't measure that, I just try to eyeball it. And what you're basically wanting to do is cut the insulation off the backing, but don't cut the foil. So it's good if you can lay it down on a table or the floor, but that's kind of rough on your knees. There's our flap. So what I'm going to do is stand my duct up here I'll measure from the floor up to the center of this takeoff, and I'll go ahead and cut a round hole in my insulation. You see, that'll be the only actual hole in that piece of insulation, so it'll be an easy one. I'll just have to cut one little round 6-inch hole and wrap it around, tape it up. This is one of the little circles that comes out when you use the round hole cutter to cut your hole. So I'll just drop it down. I'll put me a mark there and take scissors and cut out a round hole through that 3-inch insulation. Sometime when I don't have anything better to do, I think I'd like to make a big biscuit cutter that you could just stick down on here and turn. Wouldn't that be a great idea? Probably need to patent that right quick now. But at any rate, got that hole cut. I can just slip it over top of this takeoff and be a lot less taping involved. I used to try to slit it like 6 ways and just push it over it and then cut off the little tabs, but this doesn't really take much longer, and it does a lot neater job around the fitting. Okay, if you got a helper, an extra set of hands is good in this case, but what I do, I wrap the square edge, the one that doesn't have the flap on it, around, and take a piece of tape and kind of tack it down just to hold it in place so that I can roll up the side that does have the flap, pull it together good, and then you got to grab another piece of tape and stick right there. Once you get it tacked a couple of places, you can take long pieces of tape and do the same. And again, a squeegee is a must-have. Look the way the lines will actually come through the tape. Once you get it taped and squeegeed down, on the ends where it goes together, you have to stop the tape a little short, and that way when you get out on the job you can roll it back so you can get to it to put it together and seal the seam. Once you do that, then you can just fold it back together, put the flap over it from the preceding piece, and tape it up, and you're ready to go. And just so you'll be on the lookout, I'm thinking we might see a video soon about how Chuck puts a furnace in his garage, because it's too darn cold to work out here with this little heater. Okay, I'm at the house this morning. It's a frosty morning. The ground's actually still frozen, so the mud's not too bad, but that's why I wanted to save all my cardboard so I'd have some path to the van and back. I'm actually parked on cardboard there, if you look, to keep from tracking mud out onto the street when I leave. And I brought what duct I got insulated last night, and actually what I could haul. The van was pretty full, so I've got a couple more sections to bring, which will go from here toward the end wall. But what I usually do when I'm hanging duct by myself, which is most of the time, I take a couple of these straps, put a screw in the side of a joist, and hang the hook over it on both sides, make a big loop, stick one end of the duct in that loop, come to the other end of the section and do the same thing, hang another strap and lift it up and get it hanging in those straps, and then you can pull on the straps to tighten them up and eventually work it up by going back and forth and get it where you want it close so you can secure it to the framing. But I ain't getting any younger, so I looked online this morning, and Northern had these drywall hoists on sale for $40 off, and the local store happened to have one, so I stopped by and picked one up. I really have no idea how well it'll work, but I'm thinking if it'll pick up a piece of 12-foot sheetrock, I can probably put 16 foot of this duct together on the ground and raise the whole mess up. So it's a good day for experimenting. Let's give it a try. The box says assembles in 5 minutes without tools. I hope so. It'll take me 5 minutes to get the bubble wrap off. Okay, it took 10 minutes, but I did read the instructions. It's actually a pretty good looking piece. It folds up. It'll be a lot easier to put together next time. I don't know where everything goes. But the real question is, can you use it to lift ductwork? Well guys, so far I'm loving it. This was an unusual piece to get the return to turn. I stubbed them through the joist up there when I roughed in with a 90, an 8x12 90. So I made this transition up to get me down to an 8x16 trunk that I'm going to run from one return to another, and then halfway down wherever the furnace is setting will be coming out of it out the bottom. But I didn't insulate this piece. I'm going to insulate it in place because I just knew it was going to be tough to get up there, and there's not a lot of room on either side to get insulation in there. However, I picked this thing up, slipped it right in the S-cleats, and put the drives up on it. Real easy. I think I'm going to like this thing. Okay, the cradle on this lift will tilt to make it easy to load drywall. These little metal catches flip down, and you can set the drywall right here on the edge, and it'll lay there until you flip it back up. However, since I'm not going to ever be hanging drywall, I thought I'd see if there's some way I could use them. I stuck a couple of screws in here to hold them up, because that lip just isn't tall enough to catch insulated ductwork and hold it well enough. So now when I flip it down, I should be able to lay my duct up on it, just like you would a piece of drywall. Okay, I laid an 8-foot section of insulated trunk up there and cranked it up, and it went up very easy. So I feel sure it's got outriggers that you slide in each end. The little black ones over here in the box. I think I will go ahead. I feel pretty comfortable that I'll be able to pick up 16 foot of duct, no problem. So I'm going to go ahead and put together 2 sections. Actually, I'll start out small. I'll put together an 8-foot section and probably a 5-foot section there, and try it, but it shouldn't be any problem. I got my seam screwed together. I'm going to go ahead and seal it and tape the insulation while this thing holds it up in the air for me, and then we'll crank it up there. That'll hold it up there. I'll get measured and make me some straps and attach it to the joist, and then we'll go on to the next piece. This thing just keeps getting better. It's got a tape holder.